Happy Thursday. Just looking, is it looks a little blurry again tonight. I don't know why. We'll just wait a couple minutes until we get a few more people in. Let me just see if I can. I think the connection is good. So before we get started, I just have a couple announcements. I don't know if you saw in the group. Hey, Peggy. At the top of the page, I'm holding a Hello Dear Friend Kit Zoom class. And I don't even think I have a catalog in here to show you. But if you go to the pinned post on the top of my page, it's going to be a Zoom class on February 19th, and we'll be creating alternate projects using the Hello Dear Friend kit that's in the new 2021 catalog. So if you use this host code, K9CKWQRQ, when purchasing the Hello Dear Friend kit, I'll send you a link to the Zoom class, and you'll also get a free PDF for the projects that we create. So that should be fun, and that's in February, and I'll keep updating everybody for that. The other thing that I have happening, thanks, Peggy, that I have going on is I now have a Patreon account. And there's 3 tiers. I made it affordable for anyone to be involved. The highest tier is a monthly card class where the stamp set will not be included, but you will get the make and takes and the PDF to produce the class. I'll be having videos for the class. I'm offering coloring techniques and instructionals. So if you're interested, go to Patreon and look for Gal Friday Stamping. I think actually when it pops up, it's my name, Jane. So if you're interested, just check it out. So tonight we are going to be working with the Darling Donkeys. This stamp set is available during Sale-A-Bration for every $50 order from the store before taxes and shipping. This set is available for free. I'm also using one of the sentiments from Lovely You. Hey Nan, how are you? I do. I'm also going to show you the new boxes in the new catalog from the Love You Always suite. These are cute little treat boxes. And I did actually buy a treat to put in it today, and I left it in the kitchen. And for the box, I also used the Flowers for Every Season Memory and More card pack. I've actually had this card pack sitting here unopened, so I decided to use the elements inside this kit to decorate the box because it comes with cute little stickers. And I actually took a few of the cards that come and cut it up to decorate the outside of the box. Also tonight, and I didn't do an example, but I'm going to show you a technique, and this is using the Gilded Leafing that's available in the new catalog. Now this leafing, let me see if I can grab it real quick. It's under my desk. To use the leafing, it does come with the heat and stick powder. But for this right here, I did a different technique that I learned actually during a team meeting, and I thought I'd share it with you tonight because it's a nice, quick, and easy technique that you can use. A little messy, but it's fun. So, hey Ruth, how are you? So let's get started with our first card. I see there's even gold flakes on this card. We'll do the technique last because it's so messy, and those gold flakes they have a tendency to fly all over. So we'll work with this card first. And I'm using the Misty Moonlight. Love this color. It's 4 1/4 by 11, and as always, I will have a PDF posted in the group tomorrow. It won't be first thing because I do have a phone meeting in the morning. And then I have an extra layer, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then I embossed Whisper White, which, so everybody knows, Whisper White has been discontinued, but they replaced it with a cardstock that is called Basic White, and it is available to us in the store right now. I haven't gotten any, so I can't really tell you if it's similar or not. If anybody in here has purchased the Basic White and you have an opinion about it, just type it in the comments. Because like I said, I have some coming. So I'm going to glue the embossed layer down. Gives me a couple seconds to move it around a little. But it also, if you use the stamp and seal on it, it does have a tendency to flatten out your embossing, and you really don't want that to happen. And then we're just going to glue this down right to the front. Now the Whisper White is 5 1/4 by 4. Now I'm using, I guess I didn't leave it out. The Flowers for Every Season DSP. And the Misty Moonlight layer is 3 by 4 1/4. And again, we're just going to adhere these two together. And we're going to just quick use the stamp and seal. Oops. Let me just see if I can't cut another one of those quick. And I don't think I have another one. I broke off the corner. Do you see that? I broke the corner off. I'm going to have to put an embellishment over that because I don't have an extra sheet available. I'll keep it towards the bottom, and I'll show you how I'm going to fix it. And we're going to pop this up. I don't really know how I did that. It's like every week, huh? I hope everybody's doing good. We had a pretty nice day out today. So I'm just going to pop this up on the front of the card, making sure we get it as centered as possible. And before I push it down, I'm just going to straighten that out a little bit. And that looks good. And then I used the layering circles. And this is the scallop, and this is the 3-inch. And then again, we're going to use the Whisper White. I'm going to have a hard time switching over to saying basic white when I get the new card. Thankfully, I have a good amount of the Whisper White. Oh, does it? Thanks, Nan. That's true, Ruth. Today when I was creating these cards, and I'll tell you a little secret. On this one here, I had no intention of putting, and there's gold flecks on here too. I really had no intention of putting this ribbon on this card. But what happened was I was using these little stars and stamping them on this image, and you can see that I unfortunately wiggled the stamp a little too much. And can you see that little line right there? That's the edge of the stamp. So I figured I'd put a little ribbon around it so I could hide my mistake. So we'll see what happens tonight. So I'm just going to pull in my foam board, and we're going to grab some memento. Yeah, I guess we should always say there are never any mistakes. And we just can't worry too much about it, because none of us are perfect. Isn't that the truth? Especially me. So funny some days. Okay, so we're going to use the memento, and we're using the little guy who's sitting down, and we're just going to stamp him up. And I'm going to center him in the center of this circle. Give him a good stamp. Just like that. And then we're going to take the Misty Moonlight, and we are going to stamp the hee-haw. And again, we're going to hope, see, this stamp pad really is still pretty new, so it gets, when I start stamping, I have a tendency to hit it a little too hard, and it gets the edges. We're just going to close this up. Now we're going to color this guy, and we're going to do a really quick job, nothing fancy. And I'm using dark and light crumb cake. And for the dark, we're just going to, and again, as I always say, I use the nib part of the marker. And we're just going to add some shadow. Get his nose. We're going to get this back leg because it's way in the back. I'm going to leave his little hoof right there. And then we're going to do this back leg here. And we're just going to add a little shadow underneath where his leg comes together, that little tuft. Okay. Excuse me. Then we're going to, I did add some of the bronze, and I just added a little shadow under his hair, extended this line a little bit, just to add a little bit more color. We're going to do under his leg. And then we're going to grab the light crumb cake. And I'm just going to extend this again, leaving a little bit on his ears. And we're just going to go around the perimeter of his body. And I'll show you why in a second. Because I just wanted to add a little bit of extra color to him. Because when you see little donkeys, I did do gray on my first one. Now I'm taking the ivory. Now the ivory is a great overall color because it doesn't have, because it has a lot of alcohol in it. So it'll blend all these colors together. So we're just going to do a quick over his body. Now you can see where their lines are, but if you give it a couple minutes to dry, it does change it a little bit. And then for his ears, I'm just going to grab the petal pink and add a little petal pink under here. And then we're going to add it to his nose. I just want to give him a little bit of character. And then this is the light petal pink. I'm going to give him some light petal pink hair. And we're going to head to his tail. So like I said, when you're coloring your images, you don't have to be perfect. Just going to add a little bit more color there. And if you are late to coming, I do have a Patreon page now that I'll be offering more in-depth coloring videos for one tier. And it's a monthly card class. These are Copics, the old Copics. And I'm just giving him some little gray hooves. And then I'm just going to go back in with a gel pen. And we're just going to add some light. So I'll have a monthly card class, coloring videos. The card class includes a monthly video. And I did leave it fairly cheap so everybody could take advantage. As you can see, I used a piece of paper that I had run through my printer by mistake. Waste not, want not. Hi, Karen. To stamp the donkey, I used Memento. And we're just going to center this, whoops, on the circle. Yeah, that's Memento. And I didn't do it for the original card. Let's see, where did I stick that white pen? There it is. We're just going to put a little white dot in the center of his eye. This is a black Stamping Right marker, and we're just gonna make his eyes a little darker and then add a little white dot. Okay, so that's the front. Now let me see, what did I do? Here they are. So we're going to add some embellishments. Get this out of the way. And we'll change the embellishment up a little bit. Grab my pokey tool. And as you can see, this card, I put them, oops, it came off of the blue. So let's try that again. As you can see on this one, I put it on this corner. We're going to put it on these corners so I can hide that one little spot up there. And we're going to grab our ribbon. Come on, Egg, get down. That's a boy. I got my little friends here. Don't mind me, I'm looking for my ribbon. It was right here on the desk. And I know it's still here. It's just, it decided to hide on me. Here it is. Okay, so let's tie this ribbon. Give it a little trim. Okay, so we're going to take the tail, hold it between your thumb and your pointer, wrap it around these two fingers, lift your thumb, and then hold it down. Take your tail, put it between your fingers, and then under and back through your fingers, and take that same tail and you're going to put it through that loop that you just created and pull. And that's the easiest way to create a bow. We're going to grab a glue dot and stick it right underneath this little guy. Am I still on the camera? Yep. Make sure our loops are the same size. Just want to tighten this up a little bit. Looks like the loops are the same. And we can just puff it up a little bit. If you don't like the way it looks, it does move a little, so you can fix your loops. Trim these little tails. And that's the front of the card. Quick and easy. So for the inside, I did something very simple. This is 5/8 and this is 1/2, and we're just going to adhere these together. I'm using glue. So this way, again, I have a second or two to move it around. And if you read my blog, on every blog I do, I always say, don't forget the inside. Doesn't have to be fancy, but I just do feel that you should tie it into the outside of your card. Excuse me. So it's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and this one is 5 1/4 by 4. even. Okay, and then we're going to add this to the card. And it is overhanging, but that's okay. We're going to put this on first, and then we'll trim it right to the card. And I'm going to put it right to the end, just like that. You can always hold it up on end and push it down so you know that it's even. It's a good little trick. And you wouldn't know. Grab my little trimmer. I'm just looking around to see what I did with the twine. Gosh, every night, every time I come in here, I quit. This morning I came in to start crafting, and I'm working on the monthly class for the Patreon, and the die, I had the die in my hand. I was getting ready to put it on the cut and emboss machine. Yeah, that's for sure, Peggy, those gremlins. But I dropped the die. Now, I have a rug in here, so I didn't hear it hit, but I saw, at least I thought I saw it hit the floor. It took me 20 minutes to find that die that fell on the floor, and I quit. I was like, that's it, I'm out of here. I am going to go do something else, and I will come back later, because it was just the most incredible thing. I'm forever, my dies seem to disappear right before my eyes, and that's exactly what happened this morning. I was just not meant to be creating that class. So we're just going to tie this in a knot first. It makes it a little easier to tie the bow. And with the twine, it's pretty, if you pull that pretty good, you can get a good taut layer around your card. But we're just going to tie this in a bow. And this white twine I do not think is available anymore. I know there is green that's available, but I do like the white because we can use it for anything. Okay, so let's just trim this off. Put this back over here. And then we're just going to put this on the inside of the card. I'm going to open this one up so I don't put it in the wrong card like I've done many times before. Just going to straighten this up a little bit. And this time I'm going to use glue so I can put glue on either side of this twine because it is a little thick. And I just want to make sure that it sticks really well. We're just going to add this to the inside of the card. Oh, that's a good idea, Peggy. I know I've seen, I'm trying to think the name of that store, Freight, Harbor Freight. I believe they have like a bowl for nuts and bolts that's magnetized. And I'm thinking about heading over there and getting one of those. I think that would be a good thing to do. So here's the first card. These little guys are just so cute. I love their faces. So there we go. That's card number 1. I hope you like it. Just going to put that aside. I'm just going to get rid of some of these things. You'll see what I'm going what I did to try to create less of a mess. So let's get the base of the card first, and then I can put it aside so I can show you how we're going to do this. So for this little guy, I'm using 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So again, our basic card base, 5 3/8 by 4 1/8, and then the designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4. And we're just going to layer this up. I did order this Stamping Seal Plus. I haven't used it yet, but I want to give it a try. Because I think I mentioned last week, for this one, I'm having trouble, and it's not doing it right now, but I'm having trouble with the seal sticking to this end, and I'm not too sure how to fix it. I've been trying to change the way. Let's see if it's doing it. Yeah, see? Can you see this? It's attaching to the top, and I'm not sure. I must be doing something wrong. I don't want to go side to side, because then the plastic that the seal is on gets misaligned. So I'm going to try the other one. Okay, so those are our layers. Now this one is going to be popped up, and that'll go on next. But before we do that, let's just grab that's not it. This is the rectangle, layering rectangle, and this is the 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And then this is about 1/8 of an inch smaller. Let's get this little guy done so I can put everything aside so we can play with the Gilded Flakes. Just gonna switch this over. Okay, so we're just gonna ink them up. Make sure I'm on the camera. Usually I come off the camera, and I'm just going to stand up for this, and we're going to center him as best as possible. Give him a good stamp, and again, this is the memento. And then we're going to grab these little stars, and we're going to hope that we don't make a mess. And all I'm going to do is add some stars around him. See if we can't get some right by his back. See, I did it again. I think when I have a little stamp like this, I have to try to figure out a different way to stamp it on. And I was gentle too. So let's get him colored real quick. We'll start with our dark crumb cake, and we're going to do the same thing as the other little guy. I'm just adding in, and we'll do around his hair this time in the dark crumb cake. I'm going to go around his little nose, extend that down. I'm going to make sure that that back leg is darker than the front. Very quick and easy. That's the ivory. We don't want that one yet. Okay, so I put it away and it disappeared. Gray granite. Here it is, right here in front of my face. So this is the light crumb cake. Must be losing my mind. And again, we're leaving that little space. And we're just going to extend this light, dark crumb cake with the light crumb cake. Just very quick and easy. Go around his body. Get that back leg. And again, the light crumb cake has more alcohol in it, so it is going to wash the color away of the dark crumb cake. So you don't want to go over the whole thing, but you want to get the line that you've created. And you don't have to really rub hard, but you do want to cover it, the ends. Okay, so we're going to grab the ivory, and we're just going to take the ivory, and this we're going to give the whole image a wash of color. You're going to go over everything that you just colored, because it'll change the color of the crumb cake. It'll soak in, and it will blend everything together, so you won't have such harsh lines. Let's just get his nose here. And that's dark petal pink. And then I'm just going to grab dark old olive. It just seems like that's my go-to green all the time. And all I did was half the leaf and the full stem. And then I'm grabbing light mossy meadow to get the other half of the leaf. And let's see, we'll use light cherry cobbler and dark cherry cobbler. And for the dark, I'm doing the back of that rose and where it comes together. And then the light, I'm just going to color in the whole rose. Go back with a white pencil. Add a little light spot there. I'm going to pull the light petal pink. Give his nose a wash. Put that back where it belongs. And let's do some bronze hair this time. We'll make it darker. Just like that. Grab our gray. And again, these are Copics. These are the original Copics. And we're just going to give his feet a quick dark. And then we're going to go over the whole thing with a lighter gray. And there he is. He's all done. So he's just going to be adhered to this layer. Just like that. So he'll be popped up onto the front of the card. So let's now jump over to the Gilded Flakes. And like I said, these make a mess. They're in the new catalog. It's the Gilded Leafing, and it comes in a jar, and I'll show you in a second because it does make a mess. So what I did, oops, you see how it flies. I took a Coca-Cola box that I had that I was going to throw away, and I'm using that for doing the gilding because it flies all over the place. And then I did grab a stippling brush that has a flat, as you can see I used it, a flat end, and it's stiff. And for this layer, just let me make sure of the right way I did it. Okay, so we're going to layer it on here. So what I did was, for that one strip, it's 1.5 by 3 7/8. And like I had said at the beginning, the Gilded Leafing, the white colored pencil is Derwent Drawing Chinese White. It allows you to go over like your markers, even pencils, and it adds whiteness, but it's not that stark. You can see through it. So that's what I use. And then I use also gel pens. Sometimes when I want to get crazy and I have time, let's see if it's right here. Yeah. I also use gouache because that allows you to, instead of it being solid white, it actually creates a lighter color of the color you're covering. So it's permanent, but it's almost translucent. So that's just something else. So the Gilded Leaf does come with a heat and stick powder, and that would be great. Like if I wanted to stamp, say I wanted to stamp the donkey and gild him in gold leafing, I would use a Versamark stamp pad and ink it up, stamp him, cover it with the heat and stick powder instead of your embossing powder, and use your heat gun and heat it up just like you would if you were embossing. But with the heat and stick powder, it stays sticky. So it gives you an opportunity to put the Gilded Leafing on top of the heat and stick powder of your image, and it would be just like embossing, but you're leafing it with the heat and stick. Now the way I did this, just excuse me a second, I gotta take a drink. I don't know if any of you have ever tried, and I didn't get it yet, so I'm using Elizabeth Craft, the two-sided adhesive. Did you ever use this adhesive for glitter? To create a completely glittered card? It's awesome. But what I did was, I'm using this for the leafing. So I'm going to Just make sure I have the right one. So I'm going to take that piece of paper, and here's, oh, there it goes. Here's the Elizabeth Craft. We do have these sheets. I just don't have any more, and I did have these. And you're going to take your paper, and we're going to stick it on here. Now, I left some extra on the sides. Let me just make sure I have this so it's all, I want to make sure that that side that we're going to gild is completely covered. But I left an edge on the sides when I cut it, so taking the paper off, we're going to make sure this is sticking really good. If you just clip the end over, it's just easier to pull that paper. And then for the gilding, when we sit it in this box, it'll stay in place. So now what we're going to do is take the gilding, and this is where the fun part comes, and we're going to just stick the gilding on this tacky tape. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Close your jar up. And I know, look how messy that is. And I didn't even cover everything. But I'm going to take my brush, and we're going to start tapping this down onto the sticky adhesive. Okay? Now, once you get this down, you can start rubbing it and pushing the gilding to cover your layer. You want to be careful because it is very delicate. I'm just going to go down and around the whole piece, making sure everything's covered. Just going to grab a little piece here. And if you, when you take it off, if you've missed a spot, then you can actually use some glue. Stick a little bit of glue and then put the gilded foil on. Okay, now that we have it all covered, we can just rub it a little bit more. Get all the extra flakes off. Just like that. I'm just going to lift this out of the box. See how the extra adhesive just makes it a little easier when you're doing this. Piece of cat hair. And we're just going to rub this off. Just like that. Oops. And this is what it looks like. You can see it has some nice texture. And you could use it just like this. You can see I have it. It's going over the edge. So all I'm going to do is just tuck this under. So now the edges looks like a piece of, you know, gold paper. And we could actually leave it just like this with the textured paper. Like I said, see, here's all the gold. You'll be cleaning it up. But what I'm going to do is I am going to run it through with the embossing folder. And if you give me a second, I will do that really quick. Make sure I grab the right one. Okay. I'm just going to very gently take this out of the embossing folder. And then we have our layer. So either way, it looks, I mean, the look, it changes the look. And again, I should have run a piece through with the gold foil, but I didn't. Because the look is completely different. So let's finish up this card. We're going to just glue this layer. Again, it's embossed. We don't want it to get crushed. And we're just going to layer this down. I'm just going to, the edge here has a little bit of gold flakes sticking over. Same with this one right here. We'll be seeing gold flakes for a few days now. Okay, so here's our original card. We're going to pop this up onto the front of the card. Let's see. I think it looks good this way. Just going to make sure it's even down the edge. I think that looks good. And grab our little donkey, and we're going to offset him. Now we're going to make sure that we make sure I do this right, our dimensionals down this side. And we'll just put a bow instead of wrapping it with a ribbon. And then we're going to add some glue to this side because this one we already popped up. And we're going to overlay it. So we're going to put him on. We can actually use the diamonds as a guide. As long as that piece was put on straight. Just like that. Tie another ribbon. Yeah, it is fun, huh, Sue? So get this ribbon tied. Pull it nice and tight. I'm not going to wrap it around, like I said, I didn't want to wrap it around that layer. That wasn't my thinking in the first place. Grab some of these paper pumpkin glue dots. Piece of gold. I think we'll stick it right about there. Okay. I got the snail, the stamp and seal on my pokey tool. I wish they'd bring these back. I have the other one too, but I'm so used to using this one. And we'll trim the little tail. Just like that. And there's the front of the card. Now for the inside, I have a layer of the Misty Moonlight 5 3/8 by 4 1/8 Whisper White 5 1/4 by 4. And then we're going to stamp Hey There Friend. Pull it out of the box. I'm going to make sure I get this on here straight. And I'm using the Misty Moonlight stamp pad. Make sure. And we're going to stamp it right about here. Hopefully it's straight. Not bad. And then we're going to use this happy little guy who is so happy to be put in the inside of the car. And this is Smoky Slate, because I wanted him in here, but I just didn't want him to be very bold. Make sure where his feet are. Give him a good stamp. And then let's attach this to the inside of the card. And that's it. That's nice and easy inside of the card. I know this year I want to try to send out more cards than usual, but unfortunately the mail, I don't know if anybody else has been having trouble with their mail, but it seems to be taking forever. Somebody just got a Christmas card that I sent weeks before Christmas the other day. So here's card number 2. I hope you like that technique, and I hope you give it a try. It's fun, and it's just a little different, a different way to have a gold layer. You could even, if you wanted to take it a little further, if you could get it on straight, even if you use the tearing tape and you wanted to, instead of using a foil sheet, taking your layer cardstock, and I'll do it the opposite way, but do just the edges that's going to show through your layer, so it looks like you have a layer of gold instead of using, well, I usually cut the center out, but instead of using a whole sheet, if you just put this along the edge and use the leafing, you could have a gold edge completely around your card layer and save a whole sheet of gold foil paper. So it's just a thought, but I thought it was a really cool technique, and I just, knowing that the gold really does not go with Misty Moonlight, I just thought it was I wanted to use Misty Moonlight and just thought it would be a great technique to introduce you to. Thanks, Nan. Thanks, Margaret. Oh, okay, so it's getting lost somewhere. I know I'm still waiting for a package that was sent out to me before Christmas, and it's still not here. So we're just going to just quick show you these new, and these are also in the new catalog from the Love You Always set. It's a cute little treat box. And this is the outside. It's just a plain white box. And I would suggest you take your bone folder and give them a good crease. There's that seal again. And then here is the inside of the box. And the same, when I folded the original one, I did it wrong because this is the inside of the box. So you just want, this is the opposite way. And it does not come with instructions. So you want to fold in all your little tabs. But this is a cute little treat box. And then this is your side. And then this is your inside. So that would be folded that way. I don't want to go off the camera. This is the inside on the bottom. So we would fold that up. Same here. This is the side of the box. This is the inside side of the box. And then this is the flap on the bottom. And this is a really thick box. And it is food grade. So if you wanted to fill it with chocolates, it would be perfectly safe to do that. And then this is the front. And this is the front inside. And then this is the front bottom. So when you fold this together, you want to get your sides in first. These little tabs, you want to fold them in. And then grab your outsides. Fold these in. And then put that into the inside of the box. Here's the opening or the where your tab will go. And then just fold this in and stick it down. And that's the box. It really, here's more seal. But this is, it's a really nice box. If you went and you wanted to put something in it, like I said, food grade, it would be perfect. You could use it for food grade. But I just wanted to show you all I really did. And again, I've had this sitting here for a while. It's the Flowers for Every Season, Memories and More card pack. And I was doing nothing with it. So I figured I would decorate this box. So this was one of the cards that was in the pack. As you can see, I don't even know. Oh, I used part of it, so I don't even know what it says. And the box actually measures 2 3/4 by 4 1/8. So it's a nice size box. You just want to make sure, here's the edge, so you want this to be the bottom. And all I did was cut cardstock, a nice layer, trying to match the cards. And this layer is about 1/8 of an inch difference. And then I used, like I said, I cut one of the memory cards from the pack instead of using the DSP, because I believe I didn't have enough. I'm just going to layer this up. And there it is. So if you have these type, the cards or paper stock laying around, this would be great for scraps. I know my scrap box has been whittling down. I've been whittling it down lately. I just want to make sure now. Whoops. And I lay this down. Just want to make sure it's even with the top layer, which it looks like it is. And then we'll do the other side. And this is, like I said, a nice, quick, easy box. That if you needed a little gift box, I'm just going to straighten this out a little, see? Gives me a little wiggle room. Love that we have an extra couple seconds to move it around. Add this to the side. Just want to make sure it's even. Okay. And then all I did was, let's see, I have it right here. We're going to use the Just Because. I'm going to make sure this is on here straight. And we're going to use the Misty Moonlight. I got something sticky on my fingers. And we're just going to stamp this up. And we're going to put this towards the top. And this is actually a sticker. It's a sticker sheet that comes in the pack. And what I'm going to do is, where it is an adhesive, I'm just going to take some powder. This is, you know, talcum powder that I don't use. And you're just going to rub it on the back of this sticky label. And I'm going to go over the garbage. But if you rub it over all the stickiness on the back of the label, ooh, stinks. Then you can actually add your dimensionals to the back, and it will not stick, adhere to the box with the sticky layer where it's a sticker. So all I'm going to do is, here's another one, and it's a nice thick layer. It's actually about the thickness of cardstock. And we're just going to adhere these flowers to the top of the box. We're going to take our layer whoops. There we go. Add the label. It has a cute little bow. Just add that right to the label. And I think on this one I even put little flowers on the edge. These little flowers here. But you could do it up however you like. I think on this one we'll add a few to the label. And there's a nice, quick and easy little box that you can make with extra cardstock laying around. We did a great technique using the Gilded Leafing. And then we just did this happy little donkey. He's just so cute. So I hope you liked everything. When you have things already that you use. Oh, you like getting presents too? I know, I have a package coming to you again. But there we go. And like I said, I'll mention it again. I do have a Patreon account now that I'm offering coloring classes. And I believe for the coloring videos, to learn different techniques, I think that's the $3 tier. So like I said, it is not expensive at all. The $20 tier, you get everything in tier 1, everything in tier 2, And Tier 3 is a monthly card making class where you'll get a free PDF, the paper products to create the cards, and make it nice and easy and cheap so everybody could afford it. So I'll see you. I'll probably be on over the weekend. I have some great card making information for everybody to make card making a little bit easier. So have a great night. I will see you over the weekend, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for stopping in.